The San Diego Padres were supposed to be a super team. They had a generational superstar, the young phenomenon of baseball, and so much more. So how didn't they go anywhere? Well, when we look at the Padres over the last 3 seasons, they've had loads of talent, have brought in new stars, with nothing to show for it. In 2023, they had the Cy Young winning best pitcher in baseball, Blake Snell, who today is on their division rival LA Dodgers team that has won back-to-back championships with him leading their pitching staff. They've made blockbuster trades for superstars, given up loads of talent to get them, and have yet to accomplish much of anything. The question you and I have is, well, why haven't they won a World Series? Why is this 54-year drought still a thing? Could it be stemming from when a 2023 report called them an institutional failure, or a staff member saying that the Padres have a toxic environment? That's what we're here to figure out. Why haven't they won anything? Why are they projected to be a 79-win team in 2026 after winning 90 games in 2025? And everything begins back at the 2022 trade deadline. As a lineup led by veteran legend Manny Machado, San Diego's lineup was one of the best. At a record of 58-46, they were bound for another playoff run, but wanted more.
Baseball, the Milwaukee Brewers are trading all-star closer Josh Hader to the Padres.
He's an elite guy. We've seen he's had parts of this season where he doesn't let up a run for a long time. This guy's got wipeout nasty stuff.
Wipeout nasty stuff, indeed. We're talking about a guy who led the league in saves with 29 as a closing pitcher coming into the 9th inning. But this was merely the start of something massive.
Major breaking news out of baseball, where the Padres are finalizing a blockbuster trade to acquire Juan Soto.
To put together a championship caliber ball club, and to do so with Juan Soto toward the top of their lineup, not just for this year, but for 2 more years after.
When you think about a top 5 hitter, you think about Soto, one of the best home run hitters in the game with one of the strongest eyes at the plate. And as a true first base option, they also got Josh Bell back in the deal, a former 30 home run hitter with the Buccos back in 2019. I cannot say this enough. On paper, they had one of the best lineups in baseball because they had been making moves like this one for years.
Interesting story here. ESPN sources say the Tampa Bay Rays are very close to trading away their ace. Blake Snell is expected to head to the San Diego Padres.
The Blake Snell move was phenomenal, especially for a unit that had also added starting pitcher Joe Musgrove around that same time. But don't mistake it, things were not perfect behind the scenes.
Two-star shortstop Fernando Tatis Jr. was involved in a minor accident Sunday, in which he escaped with only minor scrapes, according to sources,
meaning he would inevitably miss the majority of the season. But just a week after their massive trade deadline, a bombshell out of ESPN dropped. Fernando Tatis Jr. was being suspended for 80 games after testing positive on steroid usage. And the ridiculous part is how this happened. Tatis said, "It turns out I inadvertently took a medication to treat ringworm that contained the steroid. I am completely devastated." Remember, Tatis is a guy who in 2021 had over 40 home runs, a .280 batting average with one of the top gloves in the league, on top of great athleticism. Going deep into a playoff run was not ideal whatsoever, but that's what they had to deal with. As disappointing as losing a hitter of his caliber is to anyone, Padres owner Peter Seidler had a broader perspective, seeing the best in Tatis. They finished with 89 wins, sliding themselves into a 2022 playoff spot. They were meeting the Mets at Citi Field, the team that had Mad Max in the rotation, Lindor at shortstop, and Pete Alonso at first base. Of course, this is steep competition for any team, but they came out prepared.
Baseball. And there we go. First pitch swinging. Lindor has to go chase it. He will not get there. And Crowfox. And here it comes on a 3-1. That one is laced deep to left field. And this one may get out of here. It does.
The Padres riddled Max Scherzer, forcing him out of the game early, which was key to winning Game 1. And inevitably, they won their first playoff series of the year. Hey, real quick, this video is sponsored by Odoo, which if you own a business, you already understand the chaos. For me, I spend hours trying to edit my videos in Adobe Premiere Pro, then going into Google Docs to view my scripts, and then communicating to people on Discord, and finally paying my freelancers on PayPal. It all becomes a lot. And that's why I'm partnering with Odoo. They're not a business tool. They are an all-out operating system for your company. It's a database where everything updates automatically so you and your employees are always on the same page. For instance, I can schedule uploads, track my expenses, keep my channel budget all in one place thanks to Odoo. Or if you have physical products, look, you can track materials in real time. You can schedule your production and even automate your purchasing so that you don't run out of stock. The transition is seamless, and if you want to give it a try, you can begin a 14-day trial right now without even entering credit card information. Just click the link in today's description or pinned comment to get started. Even ask me a question in the comments if you would like to. Thank you to Odoo for sponsoring today's video. Let's get back to it. But if they hope to continue this run, they'd have to get past arguably the best team of the decade, their rival LA Dodgers.
Historically dominant. The 2022 Dodgers win 111 games.
They dropped game 1 to this juggernaut of a team, and honestly, I don't know if anybody thought that they could recover in this NLDS, but of course.
Machado rips it down the left field line towards the corner, and Manny Machado has given the Padres the early lead in the first. Rounded towards third, it's past to diving Muncy. Kim will score to tie the game. Trey Turner, bouncing ball right side, that's through. Profar delivers as Grisham is on his way home. Betts is going to come in the air to right. Soto is there. And this series is even.
Both teams were now 2 games away from advancing. Game 3 was a complete pitching battle, 2 games back and forth, low scoring. Yet,
Padres edge the Dodgers 2-1 in game 3.
One final game decided everything. A game where they led by 2 runs, with Josh Hader coming in to potentially seal it.
0-2 pitch. Check swing. He went around. One away. 2-0. Hader to Freeman. Here's strike out! For the first time in 24 years, the San Diego Padres are headed to the National League Championship Series.
They defied all odds, striking out the heart of the Dodgers order. A team fresh off setting the NL's highest win total in more than 100 years. They were defeated at the hands of San Diego to send them into the NLCS, where ultimately they'd be up against an unevenly matched opponent, the Phillies, who had been emerging as a top team in baseball, their first playoff appearance since 2011, and believe me, it showed.
First inning, lifts one the other way. That sends Profar back. Is it too high or did he get enough? He got enough! And it is a breaking ball. Schwarber was ready. How far does this go?
Here's the payoff. Swung on, hit in the air, right center field, pretty deep. Going back and looking up is Soto. It's gone. Lead off.
And in the end,
And the Philadelphia Phillies are going to the World Series.
collapsing in the biggest series of the year was the last thing any fan anticipated. An unprecedented loss for a squad that had already lost so much. What other move could they have left in them? They already spent over $200 million a year on payroll. Did they even have the financial capital to make a move? Well, we got the answer on their financial capital pretty quick. They kickstarted everything with a Robert Suarez extension, and this was just the beginning.
Xander Bogaerts reportedly is signing an 11-year, $280 million deal with the San Diego
We've
Padres.
got breaking news out of Major League Baseball, where Manny Machado has agreed to a massive contract extension with the San Diego Padres.
What the Padres are doing is unprecedented in that market.
Guys were extended, but beyond anything, Xander Bogaerts was a San Diego Padre. Which, by the way, crushed Red Sox fans like myself. I loved watching the guy for nearly a decade.
Deep to left, up there it goes, it is gone.
A Gold Glove defender who hit for high batting averages and could immediately become an overall veteran leader in the Padres clubhouse. AJ Preller wasn't playing around, not anymore. The cherry on top was designated hitter Matt Carpenter joining their program to become a DH. This is a guy who was pondering retirement before 2022, but put on an absolute show and revived his career with dominance as a New York Yankee. San Diego's lineup was amongst the best in baseball. The only thing left was for them to figure out their starting rotation, When fully healthy, it was shaping up to be headlined by Blake Snell, Joe Musgrove, but nobody really stood out beside that duo. 33-year-old Nick Martinez was certainly an option, but what after that? So the Padres looked out in the free agent market yet again and decided to go with two old, reliable options.
Michael Wacha in agreement with the Padres.
In the 84th percentile of walk percentage, and he also had one of the highest chase rates in baseball.
Again, yet another former Red Sox that I really liked in 2022. Michael Wacha went from being somebody nobody really knew or cared for to being a good option on the 2022 Sox. To go back even further, he was once the NLCS MVP, so I guess you knew him if you were a Cardinals fan. His 3.32 ERA looks great at first, but a deeper look does show a 4.14 FIP, suggesting that he benefited from strong defense and good luck, but the rotation needed one last move.
I've been kind of getting worried because we've all been forgetting that we really don't have the pitching that we want, but the Padres have signed Seth Lugo to a 2-year, $15 million deal with an opt-out after the first year,
which completed an offseason that we had quite frankly never seen from them, seen from owner Peter Seidler. Lugo was standing at 6'4", 225 pounds as a righty. They had only a 167 batting average against him and 102 total at-bats. The team was totally complete and ready for an explosive season. Ironically, by the way, their lineup was loaded with shortstops. I found it really funny. You look across the list, they had Xander Bogaerts, Ha-Sung Kim, Jay Cronensworth, Tatis. 13 of their 26 players had also been to the All-Star game. 87 baseball experts picked the Padres to win their first championship in their history. Only 2 teams had a higher payroll than them. Their lineup included 7 Silver Sluggers, multiple MVP candidates. The sky was the limit.
I don't see any other city with 150,000 people coming to support us. We have a sold-out season this year. Last year was great. This year's gonna be better.
Fly ball, right field. Back goes Conforto. That ball is gone. Fly ball, deep left field. Back goes Gurriel Jr. at the wall.
There's a drive to right. Juan Soto stares it down. It is long.
High drive, deep left field. Xander plays in San Diego.
A handful of Padres were having big seasons, doing the type of things we expected, but they had a problem. Not injuries, not a lack of good players, but a winning problem. By the end of July, they had a record of 52-55, 3 games below 500, with playoff hopes dwindling. Many still agreed they had one of the most talented teams in baseball. It's not like they got much worse on paper from 2022, so why now?
Padres hitting 195 with runners in scoring position. That is 30th in all of baseball, 15 points lower than any team in the history of baseball.
This year's trade deadline did not have the same feeling as it did in years past. Because by now, the farm system of prospects built across years of great drafting was dumped and non-existent due to the blockbuster deals they made to get them over this hump. Acquiring new superstars when they were already a team full of them is simply unrealistic. So they went easy. They brought in cheaper veterans from pitcher Rich Hill, first baseman Ji-Man Choi, and a handful of just playable options. But the coming months remained bleak. Losses piled up, fans lost hope, and the season was slipping away.
It is tempting to say, like, well, here's the problems in the clubhouse and call those the explanation, and the response to that from a lot of people has been like, well, that's, and including Manny Machado, when he's spoken to people, he said, no, you're just looking at bad luck.
Thanks to Sports Illustrated for compiling these numbers, you'll see the 2023 Padres ranked bottom in many of the most important offensive statistics. Many things beyond the basic OPS, batting averages, the things that are essential for an offense to play fundamental baseball, are the things the Padres couldn't do. By the end of 2023, they were on a hot streak. They won 12 of their last 14 games to end the season, but it wasn't enough.
It's finally over. We don't have to have any type of false hope.
With the elimination, this marked one of the most disappointing seasons in recent memory, and by far the saddest waste of a season for Padres fans. Across this entire lineup, only 2 playoff teams had more above-average hitters than the Padres, being the Braves and the Phillies. Weeks later, the Padres owner Peter Seidler put out a statement saying, "The Padres organization will learn from this season and emerge in 2024 with the pieces in place to compete for San Diego's first World Series title." Would this be the case? I don't know, but they were seriously trying and made that apparent as manager Bob Melvin moved on from the team, giving them a new chance at leadership. But shortly before making a decision.
Now we have some sad news in the world of baseball. Padres owner and chairman Peter Seidler has passed away this morning.
Seidler had a huge influence not only on San Diego sports, but really within the city as a whole.
Fans, he was seen as a friend, often willing to take selfies with them. He was a man that showed a lot of compassion.
Our Padres ownership group yesterday completed the purchase of the San Diego Padres.
Now, as they transition into 2024, they'd have to continue dreaming at accomplishing everything Seidler had dreamed of. They saw no better option than former manager of the year, Mike Schild, a guy who had previously managed the Cardinals to 3 consecutive playoff appearances prior to his fall off in St. Louis. It's safe to say that this organization was excited to bring him on as a manager, but in the front office, building this team, sat longtime GM A.J. Preller, who was anticipating a much different team in 2024. Of course, you may remember that they had a massive payroll in 2023, but that was something they couldn't do any longer. Not necessarily because of the death of their owner, but instead because of the TV deal having a massive fallout, meaning millions of dollars of revenue would just be lost. And you very well will remember that they had just made a trade for Juan Soto, who is now going on to his last season under contract as a Padre. They could let him walk in free agency after 2024, or they could trade him, but this is something they couldn't postpone. A decision had to be made, and it happened.
Soto has been traded to the Yankees along with Trent Grisham.
Yep. But still, they gave up 4 solid arms with potential. Even if one of them hits, I think the Padres did their part in this trade.
The Yankees did have to give up Michael King, who was expected to go right into the Padres rotation. One of their top pitching prospects, Drew Thorpe, as well, and their backup catcher, Kyle Higashioka.
No Padres fans wanted the generational Soto to be a 2-year venture, but that's what happened. With all of these new pieces, hopefully they would slide into place, allowing for a competitive Padres team. But then again, they traded away not just one of the best hitters in baseball, but also former Gold Glover Trent Grisham, and in return got a bunch of pitchers. Their strategy was to have a revamped pitching group with new hitters also featured in this lineup. I mean, you look top to bottom and change was inevitable with this free agent group. Josh Hader was a free agent, signed elsewhere. Blake Snell was a free agent, signed elsewhere. So through moving Soto, they had Michael King stepping into this rotation.
13 strikeouts for Michael King.
Along with the young Randy Vasquez.
He strikes out right at the door with a 96-mile-an-hour fastball.
And even though they were successfully cutting the payroll, they spent over $40 million on 3 bullpen arms. A lefty coming from Japan in Yuki Matsui, and the former reliable Yankee Wandy Peralta. This was supposed to have marked an end to a chaotic offseason, but that was further from the case.
Dylan Cease going to the San Diego Padres, and the White Sox acquiring a bevy of guys.
Dylan Cease is in San Diego.
Cease had been a rumored target throughout the offseason, but they had now officially pulled the trigger to acquire an ace at the front of their rotation. Dylan Cease was simply an animal with Chicago.
6'2" right-hander. Struck him out high slide.
Tied at 4. Cease gets a swing and miss.
But to get Cease, it wasn't cheap value to trade away. Headlining the deal was Drew Thorpe, the '1 pitching prospect from the Soto trade. Would it be worth it after all? Well, we find out quickly because in his first 5 starts, he had a 1.82 ERA, amassing 35 strikeouts.
Got him.
And a new trade opportunity quickly arose when the Padres reached agreement with the Marlins on getting a new leadoff hitter. Between 2019 to 2024, his lowest batting average sat at .294, with his highest coming in at .354 for the highest batting average of any player throughout the 2020 decade. To put this into perspective, after Arise was leading off, they had Tatis Jr., Machado, and Bogarts behind him, undoubtedly more than capable of being one of the best lineups in baseball, with the pitching capable of being elite. But again, somehow they sat with a record of 50-49 by the All-Star break, as usual, seeking answers for why they weren't winning. And at just the right time, a rookie star came to the rescue.
Experience with each other because they are best friends.
Barrel to left. His first big league home run.
Jackson had been up all year, but he hadn't really been a consistent factor. That is until June, when he hit 9 home runs with an OPS nearly at 1,000.
Jackson Merrill's been powering up.
After their dreadful start, the Padres seemingly could not stop winning, and when it came time for the deadline, they wanted that finishing piece.
And AJ Preller is on the verge of pulling off another monster trade. Tanner Scott, the closer for the Miami Marlins, arguably the best relief arm on the market at this deadline.
The vision of a new bullpen was in full effect after the move of Tanner Scott, and prior to that even, they got reliever Jason Adam, someone who was consistently available in the Rays bullpen and now could do the same thing in San Diego. When we compare their 2023 Padres bullpen to 2024, you'll see they literally changed everyone. I mean, every arm was crucial to the rebuilt identity, one that let them make the playoffs with a record of 93-69. Tied for the 4th highest record in all of baseball, all thanks, by the way, to a league's best 41-27 record since the MLB All-Star break. This secured a date with Atlanta in the wildcard round.
As they begin their quest for a World Series title, what would be the first in Padres history?
In the first inning of their playoff berth, Arise got a hit, and then...
He swings, sends one high and deep to left. He's watching, so are 44,000 others.
And in Game 2 for the series...
Playable, careful. Both go at it. It's caught by Higashioka. The game's over.
With this statement of a victory, their number 1 foe, LA Dodgers, were awaiting them in the divisional round. Ohtani's first career playoff game, the biggest in his young career. The game was about to be chaotic, let me make it clear to you.
Manny Machado is hit in the air to deep left center field. Edmonds going back. He's at the wall looking. There's a drive. It's a bullet. Was there any doubt? Shohei Ohtani arrives in October.
Innings later, Bogaerts drove a few guys in. They took the lead, though the Dodgers lineup in this one was simply better than they could have handled. San Diego dropped the game, but the fight remained.
0-1 pitch, Tatis launches that one in the air. Deep down the left field line. It is way back and gone. A home run. Postseason, Peralta swings, sends it in the air to deep center field. Edmonds on the run, going back at the track, at the wall, and it's going to go. Pitch. Got him. Padres take game 3.
The series lead put them 1 game behind the Dodgers, but could they pull it off is what everyone wondered.
Back to Los Angeles. That ball's hit hard. The left center field. Merrill on the run to the track, to the wall. Goodbye.
Right up Game 4 is a loss, but the season came to Game 5, and whoever won this moved on. Yoshinobu Yamamoto, Yu Darvish, both on the mound, a battle.
Struck him out. A slider that fell off the table. Tatis swung through it. Jumps on the first one, sends a high fly ball to deep left field, and Hernandez.
Late in the 7th inning, the Padres were still scoreless in this game, but the Dodgers...
Hits it hard, deep left field, the second home run from a Hernandez. Ground ball to third, picked by Hernandez. The Dodgers punch back and head to the championship series.
They had faced the inevitable demise that fans were scarred with from years past. The Dodgers themselves were saying that the 2024 Padres were the best team in this postseason, an unbelievable loss for such a talented team. Their best chance to have won it was by the wayside. It just felt like another season that we had watched time and time again. Yeah, they acquired Ryan O'Hearn at the trade deadline. They had momentum, they made the playoffs, and what do you know, they lost again. But after this heart-wrenching loss, Ryan O'Hearn left for Pittsburgh. Luis Arraez, Dylan Cease, the names go on, all went to other teams as well. They're left with a decimated core that is disintegrated with years of a minor league system and neglect. And now, it's obvious what destroyed the San Diego Padres. It's obvious why they haven't won. Going through a list of trades, if they did not trade for Soto, they would have had CJ Abrams at shortstop, James Wood in their outfield, Mackenzie Gore as a star pitcher. Moral of the story, basically what I'm trying to say, the Padres have to stop gutting their development system when it happens to be the reason why they're so good. Instead, build a lineup of young players, build a rotation of young players, and extend them. So will they actually win anything this year? Leave a comment down below, let me know. If you enjoyed, please subscribe or watch another one. Either way, it helps out a lot. I spent a lot of time on this video, so if you did enjoy, thank you. Peace out.